weather for the past 2 days. So Joe, tell me a bit about yourself. Tell me your story, because from looking at your CV, it looks like you've got quite the story to tell. So please go ahead and share that with me.
Yeah, I do have a few stories stored up over the years. First of all, thank you for doing this. What you and Warren are doing is very much needed in this industry, especially as a newbie.
Okay, thank you.
Because when we do come in, it is intimidating,
Yeah,
and a lot of the old timers are not real welcoming, like you said in one of your videos. So anyway, thank you.
You're welcome.
My first adventure into yachting was back in 1980.
Okay.
I'm from Fort Worth, Texas, or Dallas area, and I actually told my parents I was going to Texas A&M to look at a school, and I drove to Miami, and I had 3 job interviews on different cruise lines, sailing charters. I had them all set up before I even got here. That did not pan out, so I went home and did like a real job. Did it pretty well. Retired at
Okay.
56 and wound up back in Fort Lauderdale. And I thought,
Okay.
I am going to do this now. At 58 years old, I'm going to be a friggin' deckhand or stew. So
That's awesome.
I mean, we're in the yachting capital of the world, so it was really easy to find out the schools. And I mean, I went to MPT and took as many classes as I could. Started
Okay.
doing the networkings, met a bunch of placement agencies, placement agents, and of course, with my CV and my credentials, which are 0, I do much better in person on interviews than I do on paper. So
Okay. Yeah.
that paid off. That paid off a lot by just going in and meeting the placement agents.
Okay.
So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
That's awesome. Okay, so but do you find that sorry, I just saw the most beautiful blue jay fly past. It's kind of nice to just be outside for a bit today.
Yeah.
So when you started looking, did your first job come quite easy, or did you end up having to wait quite a while?
It was by going to meet the placement agents that actually helped me, because when a job came across, but yes, it took several months,
Okay.
which is not long in this industry, I guess.
Yeah.
It was before the boat show last year, so the season was just now picking up.
Okay.
But one of the placement agents had spent a lot of time with her, so she got to kind of know my quirky personality. And so when a job came across the desk, she said, I think I've got the guy for you. And she brought me in to interview, and really liked the company. They brought 5 of us in to audition for like a week of yard work to try to give a work week trial period, I guess.
Yeah.
And I loved it. So I got the job.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And so where did you go on your travels on your first job?
This was actually a fly fishing company. We
Okay.
operated a mothership. So my first round, I was in the bayous of Louisiana. So we were anchored about an hour offshore, and the fishing guides would bring the guest out and then use the boat as a floating hotel. So we still
Okay.
did full service, chef, um, you know, uh, high-end service for them, but we would just happen to be floating for fishermen. So I did
Okay.
that in Louisiana. Then we moved to the Everglades, and then the captain in the Bahamas boat kept wanting me to come over there for him. So I went to the second boat to the Bahamas a couple times, because we had two
Okay.
different boats. Two different boats.
Okay, that's exciting. So you had to plug in on 2 different levels every now and then.
Yeah, yeah. So I
Yeah,
got to experience several uh, different captains and different
yeah,
procedures and two different boats. You know, every boat operates differently. So it was
yeah.
fun to learn, and it was kind of cool that by the end, both captains were going, I want him, he's mine.
That's awesome.
I want the old dude.
That's really cool. And I mean, I've had a few questions with regards to whether or not people should,
Cut
and I've been trying to explain to them that for it's definitely important because like in your case you ended up doing a trial so people could see what it was like working with you, and at the end of it you're either going to have people that praise you and that really really want you on board, or maybe you're not a good fit, but like day working and trial periods are really good for that sort of stuff, so I can highly recommend it.
Oh, me too.
um yeah. So yeah, my other question for you is what is a message that you can give out to everybody that's also just like you, who wanted to get into the industry now? And I mean, especially now after this whole virus thing, it's going to be a lot of things have changed, but there are still jobs going. So, do you have any advice or any words of wisdom for people that are just starting
I mean, besides that old line, I mean, you can do anything you put your mind to, as long as
out?
you put your mind to it. Um, I do remember when I was 23 and I started my nursery, everybody looked at
Okay.
me and said, "You don't start nurseries, you inherit nurseries. And I don't know what you're doing. You can't do this." Well, 33 years later, I had one of the most well-known nurseries in North Texas. So
Oh wow. So,
I didn't take no for an answer. I mean, people said
yeah.
you can't do this, and I'm like, well, whoa, why not? The same with
Yeah.
yachting. I mean, you just don't go in to say I'm going to be a yachty at 58, and I've never done this before, but you can.
Yeah.
It's all about your attitude, your drive, what you put into it,
Yeah.
and I mean, you can't sit on the couch. It's not going to come to you if you're sitting on the couch. So you
Yeah.
got to
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
up and go
Nothing's gonna
for it.
happen if you sit on the couch.
No. No,
So
I
is
just
that what you,
persevere.
yeah, that is the thing though, is you need patience and you also need perseverance, definitely.
Right.
You need the drive, the will to
Right.
want to.
Exactly.
So is that what you did before yachting? You did nurseries?
Yeah. No, plant farms, commercial
Plant,
greenhouses
okay,
uh, in North Texas.
okay.
And, and I can honestly remember going to my first trade show with a checkbook full of money, and not one person would talk to me because nurseries are passed down from father to son or grandfather. That are just their family farms.
Yeah.
And none of these vendors had ever heard of somebody just starting one out of the clear blue. Uh, and I had sold snow skis for 7 years before that. So
Okay.
I went from snow skis to nurseries to yachting. It's all the same.
Wow.
Well, it's
Yeah.
all the same. It's people. It's people.
Yeah.
And so I like it.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really awesome. So what are you up to now during this whole breakout and stuff?
I've actually, well, my friends shamed me into being productive. You know, I look online and they're all doing this or updating whatever. And I was laying around eating bonbons for a while. Not really. Uh, but I decided I enrolled in a couple online Spanish courses to
Oh, okay.
improve my Spanish.
Yeah.
I know literally hundreds of words, but putting them together has never been a I never needed to because I could always just get by, especially in the landscape industry. I could communicate what I needed.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So, and I could either order dinner or get beat up, and I didn't know which until too late. So I, I figured it's time to practice.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's one thing that I've been trying to promote, is that now is the time to catch up with all those courses that you've always wanted to do. I've got like 7 courses on Udemy that's just sitting there waiting for me. And now that I'm off the boat, now I can actually sit and focus on them and grind away. I absolutely love doing courses. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
So okay, so just a quick to touch base with you. Are you going to be looking for work again once all of this blows over, right? You're not on a retainer at the moment.
No, no.
Okay,
Yeah. I've got two
cool.
nice feelers out there right now, and I'm hoping one of them come through.
That's really awesome. Okay, cool. Joe, I'm gonna say thank you so much for coming on today and sharing your story with us. It's really cool to share it from your perspective, somebody that's starting so late. And I mean, a lot of people like Warren also, he started when he was 35, and then you have guys that start at 19. So it
Baby.
really like age doesn't matter when it comes to doing what you want to do. Definitely.
Right. I agree.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Joe. I hope you
All
have
right.
an awesome day.
You too, Dre, and thank you. Really appreciate you doing this.
Cool. You're welcome. You're welcome. Anything to help.
All right.